Listen for 20 minutes. Activate auto mode and let the money find you. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to wake up and money just appears? Inheritances, opportunities, ideas that turn into income out of nowhere. While you're chasing after it, they receive it effortlessly. It seems unfair, doesn't it? But what if I told you that this isn't luck, nor a matter of working harder, but something much deeper, an internal frequency that you haven't yet activated? That's right. While you believe you need to fight, others are already in reception mode. And here comes the paradox. The fastest way to get money is not to chase after it, but to learn how to position yourself so that it comes to you. For 20 minutes, you will discover not only techniques, but a complete reprogramming of your mind, a state that Napoleon Hill would call the automatic mode of attraction. It's counterintuitive. The less you try to control every detail, the more the flow happens. Imagine letting go of despair, anxiety, and pressure, and starting to feel confidence, clarity, and openness. And money responds to that energy. This isn't fantasy. It's behavioral science, mental alignment, and spirituality working together. And the most surprising thing? This transformation doesn't require complicated formulas, schemes, or luck. It requires decision, practice, and awareness, tools that you already possess within yourself. Over the next 20 minutes, you will connect with your subconscious mind, adjust your mental posture, and create space for unexpected opportunities and money to begin manifesting naturally. And the best part, you will realize that every action, every thought, and every feeling can now be used as a magnet for prosperity. Stop chasing after money. Make it find you, automatically. He would never admit it out loud, but he was tired of feeling that money was a slippery fish. Every time he squeezed it, it escaped. And that's the strange part. The less you chase it, unexpected money. The more life whispered, "Not today," the more Napoleon Hill I would say, "Look, you don't need another work marathon. You need a change." Because the real game isn't just about income. It's financial frequency. That's it, financial mindset. It's about learning to live in reception mode, not in panic mode. Look, when someone lives in hunting mode, everything in their body screams scarcity. A tense jaw, hasty decisions, desperate energy. And yes, people feel it. Opportunities feel it. But when the person shifts to automatic mode, posture changes, tone of voice changes, choices become clearer. It's as if the mind becomes a radar for money magnet moments, a message that turns into a client, a conversation that turns into an invitation, a simple, "Hey, I remembered you," that turns into extra income. It's not magic. It's not a plan. It's just the subconscious finally working for you instead of against you. And here's the key. You don't force the how. You train the who. Instead of waking up thinking, "How am I going to get money today?" you start thinking, "How am I going to get money today to perceive what is already trying to reach me?" That's when divine alignment sneaks in. Quietly, almost annoyingly simple. And once he sees that, he realizes there's a hidden difference between people who keep waiting and people who keep receiving. But for this to really work, there's a trap that almost everyone falls into without realizing it. And that's exactly where the next topic comes in. Hunter versus reception. The invisible difference that changes everything. Napoleon Hill. He often says that there are two silent questions running through people's minds as soon as they wake up. One is, "How am I going to get money today?" The other one is, "What are you trying to find me for today?" It seems like a detail, right? But it's not. The first puts the body on alert, hinders decisions, and accelerates bad choices. The second activates an internal state of front desk where the mind becomes more open, more attentive, almost as if it were saying, "I'm ready, show me." You've seen this happen countless times. Competent, hard-working, intelligent people. Stuck in hunting mode. They work hard, but are always tired, always with the feeling that they're chasing something that never arrives. Others, sometimes with fewer resources, seem to get lucky. The difference isn't luck, it's focused attention. When the mind moves from despair to confidence, it begins to notice invitations, signs and opportunities that previously went unnoticed. And here's where something counterintuitive comes in. The more someone tries to control us, the money will come, but it blocks the flow. Napoleon Hill explains it with a simple image. Closed hands can't hold water. In reception mode, the hands open. The person does their part, of course, but leaves room for the unexpected to act. But almost no one can sustain this state for very long, because there is a silent enemy that sabotages everything, from within, and it resides in an ancient belief that the next topic will explain. The power of mindset change. From "I need" to "I receive." Have you ever noticed how the language we use with ourselves shapes the things around us? "I need money" vibrates scarcity. "I am worthy of receiving" vibrates abundance. Simple, right? But few people actually make this mental shift. And when they do, something magical begins to happen. Napoleon Hill says the key here is welcoming mindset. It's not about neediness. "I need" creates pressure. "I receive" creates a sense of lightness. Let's take a practical example. Imagine someone who always considers themselves needy of opportunities. This person enters any room already thinking, "I need to close this sale. I need to impress this person. I need to convince them that I have what they need." What happens? The energy becomes heavy. The other person feels a burden, an imploring need. Now imagine the same person entering with a reception mindset. "I'm here, open, ready for whatever comes, and confident that the right person will appear." The words may be the same, but the impact is completely different. This state of receptivity not only improves how others perceive you, but also reprograms the subconscious to see opportunities where they didn't exist before. As the mind begins to work for you, instead of against you, doors open, the right contacts emerge, and the right ideas appear. And this internal transformation, however subtle it may seem, is the first step in activating the automatic mode of attraction. But how do you ensure that this mode remains active in the long term? The next topic will tell you exactly how. Working hard versus working in alignment, where most people get lost. This is where things get complicated. Almost everyone has learned that money only comes with struggle, sweat, and endless sacrifices. And yes, effort matters, no doubt. But Napoleon Hill would say, hard work without purpose is just wasted energy. You waste time, focus, health, and still feel stagnant. Working aligned, it's different. It's when action and intention go hand in hand, and that's when unexpected money it starts to appear in ways that seem almost unfair. Have you ever seen people work 12 hours a day and get nowhere, while others work fewer hours and somehow manage to get better opportunities? Why? Because alignment sharpens perception. When someone is aligned with their purpose, values, and intuition, decisions become clearer. They say no more quickly to what drains them, and yes confidently to what expands them. That's where automated income pathways, they begin to form, not because the person forced it, but because they stopped swimming against the current. A practical example? Before taking any action, you pause and ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my vision? If the answer is no, redirect. If it's yes, act decisively, without guilt, without overthinking. This habit alone saves energy, attracts the right people, and puts you in the right places. And when alignment becomes the norm, Another hidden block tends to surface, a belief so deep that it silently prevents receiving. And that's exactly what the next topic reveals. The invisible block. I don't deserve it, and why it holds everything back. This is the part most people don't want to face. Superficially, they say they want more money, more freedom, more conveniences. But deep down, there's a silent belief that governs everything. People like me don't understand that. Napoleon Hill called that value block. And it's sneaky because it doesn't sound dramatic. It sounds responsible, humble, down to earth. But without realizing it, this belief keeps the person in self-protection mode, not in receptive mode. Napoleon Hill observed this pattern repeating itself countless times. Someone is about to achieve a major goal, a promotion, an important client, an unexpected opportunity, and suddenly hesitates, procrastinates, or sabotages themselves, not out of laziness, but because the subconscious whispers, "If this works, who do you think you are?" And the mind, trying to stay safe, applies the brakes. That's when, financial frequency, it falls, and the flow stops. Change happens when a person reframes merit, not as ego, but as alignment. If I create value, if I serve, if I grow, I have the right to receive. This simple thought relaxes the nervous system and unlocks reception mode. Once again, money ceases to seem like something forbidden and begins to be seen as a natural exchange. And when that guilt dissipates, something else becomes possible. Because believing alone is not enough. There is one more ingredient that determines whether the mode remains activated or deactivated. And that's where the next topic delves deeper. Faith, decision, and time. The tripod that keeps the automatic mode on. Here's a truth most people ignore. Believing without deciding is just an illusion. And deciding without, trusting in the right timing turns into anxiety. Napoleon Hill often explains it this way: faith, decision, and time. They function as a trio. Remove one of them and the whole structure collapses. Many say they believe, but deep down they are still trying. And trying sends a contradictory signal. The subconscious hears uncertainty, not commitment. When someone says, "I will try to prosper," the mind keeps the door ajar. But when they say, "I decided," then something clicks into place. The nervous system relaxes, choices align, and behavior shifts effortlessly. It's at this moment that automatic mode, the opportunity materializes. There's no longer a need to chase after it. It's recognized more quickly. And recognition, more than effort, is what multiplies results. Next comes the hardest part for most people: the right moment. Impatience silently kills receptivity. Checking, forcing, doubting. All of this wastes energy. Napoleon Hill uses a simple analogy. You don't dig up a seed every day to see if it's growing. You water it, protect it, and trust the process. Trust divine time. It doesn't mean passivity. It means acting without panic. And when someone learns to move calmly and confidently, something changes. Because faith without action stagnates, and action without structure disperses. That's precisely why the next topic delves deeper into practical rituals, which solidify this mindset in daily life. The invisible rituals that train the subconscious every day. It's tediously simple, and that's why it works. The subconscious learns through experience, repetition, and emotion, not logic. Small daily rituals, done with intention, reprogram behavior more quickly than long motivational speeches. A morning reset, for example, sets the tone. No cell phone, 3 deep breaths, and a clear internal affirmation like, "I am available to receive today." It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a difference. Financial frequency immediately. Throughout the day, the ritual continues through posture and response. When an opportunity arises, even a small one, the trained person, reception mode. They don't dismiss the situation with a, "That's nothing." They acknowledge it. A discount, a referral, a kind gesture, an idea that saves time or money. Recognition trains the brain to see patterns, and patterns attract. Unexpected money, what is rewarded is repeated. The subconscious thinks, "Ah, that matters," and begins to analyze the environment in a different way. At night, the cycle closes. Instead of being carried away by distractions, the well-aligned person asks themselves better questions before going to sleep. What did I receive today, and what could they be trying to contact me about next? Without forcing answers, just planting seeds. The mind keeps working while the body rests, silently connecting the dots. And here's what most people don't realize. Once these rituals become consistent, life begins to respond more quickly. But there's a final multiplier that determines the reach of this, because mindset combined with ritual still needs movement. And that's exactly what the next topic reveals. Aligned action, where money meets movement. This is where many people get confused. They think, automatic mode. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing something. The right thing, at the right time, with the right energy. Napoleon Hill explains that money doesn't just respond to movement. It responds to aligned movement. Running in circles is still movement. It's just not the kind of movement that's appealing. Unexpected money. When action is guided by clarity, it ceases to be burdensome and becomes precise. A person aligned with their intuition acts differently. They respond to that message they've been putting off. They make the decision their intuition prompted them to make. They attend a meeting with presence, not desperation. Small movements, precise movements, and, strange as it may seem, these movements often open doors that effort alone could never reach. That's how extra income, it insinuates itself, through conversations, invitations, ideas that only appear when the person is already in motion. Napoleon Hill often shares a simple rule. When intuition whispers twice, act. Not impulsively, but decisively. This habit builds trust between the conscious and subconscious mind. And trust accelerates results. Once action and mindset synchronize, momentum grows rapidly. But there's a final principle that silently multiplies everything, something most people underestimate, but which determines how much keeps flowing back. And that's exactly what the next topic reveals. Circulation. Why giving keeps the flow open. Here's a principle that, at first glance, seems contradictory, and that's why it works so well. Napoleon Hill explains that money behaves like breathing. When you hold it in too much, everything suffers. Circulation is what keeps the flow going. Automatic mode alive. People who live in reception mode, they are not afraid to let value flow through them. They don't cling. They trust the flow. And trust, silently, multiplies financial frequency. You've seen this happen countless times. Someone receives a little extra and immediately shares it. A tip, a helping hand, a gesture. Not to buy luck, but because it feels natural. This act tells the subconscious, I already have enough, and the mind believes what behavior confirms. From there, unexpected money. Find your way back, sometimes through people, sometimes through the right timing, sometimes through savings that seem like gains. A practical perspective simplifies everything. These aren't grand donations or dramatic gestures. It's about the circulation of money in daily choices, paying generously, supporting someone's work, sharing knowledge, opening doors. Money doesn't like stagnation. It responds to purposeful movement. And when this becomes a habit, a person notices something curious. The more they let it flow, the more consistently life renews itself. But even this principle has a final layer, because awareness permanently consolidates it. And that's where the next topic closes the cycle. Consciousness and record keeping. What is seen multiplies. Here is the silent multiplier that almost no one talks about. Napoleon Hill calls it trained consciousness. Money doesn't just respond to desire, it responds to recognition. When someone begins realizing, even in small doses, what's already arriving sends a clear message to the subconscious. This is important. Look for more information. And when the brain knows what to look for, it finds patterns everywhere. That's how unexpected money. It ceases to be rare and becomes recurrent. Napoleon Hill often suggests a simple habit. Write it down. Not someday, today. A refund, a discount, an idea that saved time, a favor that turned into an opportunity. The amount doesn't matter. The act of recording does. Because the mind doesn't multiply what it ignores. When someone records receipts, achievements, and small gains, financial frequency, the clarity increases, the radar becomes more powerful, and suddenly what seemed invisible becomes obvious. What's fascinating is how quickly it spreads. Within a few days, people start saying things like, "I had never realized how much was already flowing." That very realization transforms one's identity, from someone who waits to someone who receives. And once the identity changes, behavior naturally follows. This is where everything connects. Mindset, action, confidence, flow. But knowing this is one thing, integrating it into life is another. And that's precisely why the next step is no longer theory. It's a deeper invitation to apply everything, starting with the agora, the invisible work of the mind during the night. This is where things get quietly powerful. The subconscious never shuts down, not even when the body shuts down. While someone sleeps, the mind continues processing, connecting, and rehearsing possibilities. And when it is trained, during the day to operate in reception mode, the night transforms into a silent accelerator. Ideas emerge, names appear, solutions seem obvious by morning. That is automatic mode doing their best work off stage. Napoleon suggests a gentle practice before bed, nothing drastic. Just better questions. No. Why is this so difficult? But what opportunity have I not yet seen? It's not about forcing answers, just about planting the seed of curiosity. Questions guide the subconscious like a compass. And when someone wakes up with an impulse to send a message, make a call, or research something, that's not random. It's financial frequency transforming intuition into action. What most people don't realize is that ignoring these signs weakens the message. Acting on them, even imperfectly, strengthens the trust between mind and intuition. And trust accelerates everything. As soon as the nights start to work, with as the days go by, the momentum naturally increases. At this point, the person isn't just learning about money. They're living differently. And this change prepares the ground for something bigger. Because knowledge alone doesn't transform. Application does. And that's exactly where this journey will take us now. Daily application. When knowledge becomes identity. This is the moment when everything either gets recorded or disappears. Napoleon Hill is very clear about this. Information doesn't change lives. Identity. Many people consume content, get inspired for a few hours, and then revert to their old habits. Why? Because they never cross the line that separates the essential from the superfluous. Knowing for to be change occurs when daily behavior begins to conform to the new pattern. Financial mindset even in small, almost banal details. Napoleon Hill often explains that identity is built through repetition. When someone consistently acts like a certain person, reception mode. Speaking differently, making decisions faster, respecting intuition, managing energy, the subconscious updates the self-image. And once the identity is updated, the results come naturally. That's when unexpected money. It stops seeming like a coincidence and starts looking like a pattern. These aren't overnight miracles, but rather the constant confirmation that something real has changed. A simple example makes this concrete. Instead of saying, "Let me think about it," out of fear, the aligned person says yes or no clearly. Instead of ignoring an idea, they test it. Instead of waiting for permission, they act. These micro-actions accumulate, and soon life responds differently. People treat them differently. Opportunities arise more clearly. Timing improves. Once the identity changes, the old struggle no longer fits. And from here, only one thing remains: to seal the journey and invite commitment. Public decision. The moment when the game truly changes. This is the line most people never cross. Napoleon Hill says that transformation accelerates the moment a decision leaves the private mind and enters the public world. As long as change exists only in thought, it is negotiable. But when someone declares, through words, posture, and actions, the nervous system synchronizes. The brain processes, now this is real. And that's when automatic mode. It stops fluctuating and begins to stabilize. You've seen this happen countless times. The person who waits silently remains stagnant. The person who says aloud, "I've decided," acts differently. They comment, commit, act accordingly even when they feel uncomfortable. This public declaration isn't for the world. It's for the subconscious. And the subconscious responds by organizing behavior, attention, and time around the new identity. That's when unexpected money. It seems less random and more inevitable. It's not about pressure or performance. It's about integrity. When actions match words, trust takes hold, and trust sharpens perception. Opportunities become clearer, hesitation diminishes, and momentum increases effortlessly. This is the turning point, the instant when internal change becomes irreversible. From here, the path doesn't need more teaching. It needs consolidation. And that's exactly what comes next. Sealing the new standard. When prosperity becomes the norm. Here's the unspoken truth. What you repeat long enough ceases to seem special and begins to seem normal. And that is the true victory. Prosperity is not a peak moment. It's a starting point. When someone lives in automatic mode, given enough time, the old struggle seems strange, almost alien. The mind no longer questions it. Will it work? But how should I react to what is already working? This is the fully implemented identity. Napoleon explains that this is where most people unintentionally sabotage themselves, not out of fear, but out of habit. They are accustomed to chaos, urgency, and last-minute stress. Calm and abundance seem strange at first, but when a person remains present, maintains rituals, honors intuition, and acts in harmony, the nervous system recalibrates. Unexpected money. It no longer shocks. It confirms. It becomes feedback, not a surprise. At this stage, life responds more quickly. Conversations become shorter, decisions more assertive, and opportunities arise more clearly. Not because the universe has changed, but because perception has changed. Napoleon Hill often says, "Nothing magical happened. You simply stopped blocking." And when prosperity becomes the norm, there's no going back to the old frequency. From here on, the journey is no longer about learning, but about living it fully. And with that, the didactic part ends. Now that you've gone through each step, each insight, and each ritual that activates the automatic money attraction mode, the big question is, are you going to apply this knowledge, or are you going to let it lie dormant like just another video you watched? Remember, nothing changes if learning doesn't translate into action. Try waking up tomorrow and doing at least one of these rituals. Take a deep breath, Declare that you are open to receiving, act in alignment, or record small opportunities that arise. Feel the difference this makes in your energy. Ask yourself, what opportunities have you missed in recent days because you weren't paying attention? What ideas have you let slip by out of fear or insecurity? Now imagine clearly noticing these signs every day, because your mind and actions are synchronized. That's the magic of automatic mode. You don't need to chase after it. Money and opportunities will naturally start finding you, and every small gesture will multiply. And here's a challenge. Start today. Choose a ritual. Act with intention. And observe what happens. Share in the comments any opportunities or insights you noticed during this week. This not only reinforces your learning, but also helps others activate automatic mode in their lives. If you want to continue learning, growing, and receiving these transformative truths, subscribe to the channel right now. And don't forget to enable notifications, because each new video will be like an extra layer of mental reprogramming, guiding you step by step towards the prosperity that God has already prepared for you.